Academic Writing, Lecture number 1. The theme of the lecture is Goal of Academic Writing. According to the plan of our lecture, we are going to discuss the following questions. The first, academic writing. Second, goal of academic writing. And the third, principles of academic writing. Academic writing is a formal style of writing used in universities and scholarly publications. You'll encounter it in journal articles and books on academic topics, and you'll be expected to write your essays, research papers, and dissertations in academic style. Your instructors may have different names for academic writing assignments: essay, research paper, term paper, argumentative paper, analysis paper or essay, informative essay, but all of these assignments have the same goal and principles. Academic writing is different from creative writing, which is the kind of writing you do when you write stories. It is also different from personal writing, which is the kind of writing you do when you write letters or emails to your friends and family. Creative writing and personal writing are informal, so you may use slang, abbreviations, and incomplete sentences. However, academic writing is formal, so you should not use slang and contractions. Also, you should take care to write complete sentences and to organize them in a certain way. Academic writing is part of a complex process of finding, analyzing, and evaluating information, planning, structuring, editing, and proofreading your work, and reflecting on feedback that underpins written assignment at university. Academic writing follows the same writing process as other types of text, but it has specific conventions in terms of content, structure, and style. Academic writing is formal and unbiased, clear and precise, focused and well structured, well sourced, correct, and consistent. So academic writing is not personal, long-winded, emotive, and grandiose. Specific features of academic writing are the following: academic language, flow and connectivity, paraphrasing. Let's start with academic language. So first of all, academic writing uses a more formal register than everyday communication. So we use Latinate or verb forms and avoid casual language. Academic writing tends to adopt formal language derived from Latin rather than Anglo-Saxon roots. This distinction is particularly evident in the use of verbs in academic language. In general, phrasal verbs are used when speaking, whilst Latinate verbs are used in academic writing. Phrasal language is more informal, whilst Latinate verbs sound posher and more academic. There are some examples of phrasal verbs and their synonyms and Latinate verb forms. For example, the verb carry out, the synonym perform. Example: the experiment was carried out, the experiment was performed. Find out, the synonym is investigate. It is more used in academic style. The aim of this project is to find out or to investigate. Leave out, omit. Therefore, this was left out of omit from the analysis. Point out, the synonym is explain. In this section, I will point out or I will explain. Set up, establish. The experimental apparatus was set up or assembled. Look into, explore. The literature review will look into, explore the reasons. Have an effect on or influence. The results show that X has had an effect on or influenced. Come up with, generate. The group had to come up with, or the group had to generate ideas from their project. Hold onto or retain. They held onto, retain the idea that. The second feature is of academic language is avoiding contractions and abbreviations. Academic writing tends to avoid the types of contractions and abbreviated language that you might use in other forms of communication. In some cases, this is obvious, but in other cases, where abbreviations have become commonly used forms of words, it can be more difficult to spot. For example, academic writing, typical forms are not, is not, it will, should not, cannot. And in everyday communication we use contractions such as aren't, isn't, it'll, shouldn't, can't, and so on. It is important to use the full form of the abbreviated name or phrase in the first instant, including the abbreviation in parentheses. For example, a key role has always been played by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. World Health Organization recommendations state the use of electrocardiogram is recommended. The addition of Treaty Architect 8 will result in. The third feature of academic language is the use of some neutral and adjectives. For example, to avoid overusing the first person I and use passive forms where possible. For example, the experiment was conducted, evidence suggests, a sample was taken. Watch out for adjectives that imply a value judgment. Fantastic, brilliant, rubbish, interesting, good, and etc. Avoid using cliched phrases, a hot topic in other side of the coin, at the end of the day, the fact of the matter, in the current climate. Avoid overstatement. Make cautious use and avoid the following altogether: extremely, very, really, always, near, never, a lot, the most, the least. The next feature of academic language is flow and connectivity. The skill of structuring your writing and building effective connections between paragraphs is one that will allow you to develop and sustain a compelling argument in your written work. By setting out your idea and evidence with a natural flow, you will make your work much more readable. This important technique will help you work towards higher levels of attainment in assignment and help to improve the quality of your everyday writing. Very important is paraphrasing. When you are producing a piece of writing at university, you will often want to talk about what someone else has written about the topic. Quoting and paraphrasing are two distinct ways of doing this. Quoting means directly including in your work the published words and or other data you have found in a source. Paraphrasing means expressing in your own words the idea, arguments, words and other materials you have found published elsewhere. Thank you very much for your attention.